The old clock tower stood tall against the darkened sky. Its ancient stones, weathered by time, seemed to absorb the moonlight, casting an eerie glow. The tower had witnessed countless nights, each one adding to its mysterious aura. Its shadow stretched across the town like a creeping hand, reaching into every corner, every alley. The shadow seemed almost alive, moving with a purpose, as if it had a mind of its own. It was a constant reminder of the tower's ominous presence. A beacon of fear, a monument to tragedy. The clock tower was not just a structure, it was a symbol of the town's darkest secrets. Its very existence was a testament to the sorrow and fear that had plagued the town for generations. Locals whispered tales, stories passed down through generations. In hushed tones they spoke of the tower's cursed history, of the lives it had claimed. Each story was more chilling than the last, adding to the tower's fearsome reputation. They spoke of a cursed clock, a malevolent entity trapped within. The clock's face, with its eerie glow, seemed to watch over the town, its hands moving with a sinister purpose. It was said that the clock had a life of its own, driven by dark forces. Its ornate face hid a sinister secret. The intricate carvings and designs were not just for decoration, they were symbols of dark rituals and forgotten spells. The clock was a relic of a time when dark magic was a part of everyday life, a power to steal life at the stroke of midnight. As the clock struck 12, a chilling aura enveloped the town. It was said that anyone caught outside at that hour would never be seen again, their life force drained by the clock's malevolent power. The clock's origins were shrouded in mystery. Some believed it was crafted by a master clockmaker who dabbled in dark arts, while others thought it was a relic from a forgotten civilization. Its true origins were lost to time, adding to its enigmatic allure. Some said it was a gift from a scorned lover, others a tool of dark magic. The stories varied, but they all agreed on one thing: the clock was cursed. Its presence brought misfortune and despair to anyone who dared to get too close. Its intricate carvings hinted at a forgotten time. Each detail told a story, a piece of a larger puzzle that no one had been able to solve. The carvings were a testament to the clock's ancient and mysterious origins, a time of shadows and whispers, of rituals best left undisturbed. The clock was a relic of a dark past, a time when forbidden rituals were performed in secret. Its presence was a reminder of the town's hidden history, a history that many wished to forget. The clock's presence cast a pall over the town. Its shadow loomed large, a constant reminder of the darkness that lay within. The townspeople lived in its shadow, their lives forever intertwined with the clock's sinister legacy. An unspoken dread hung in the air, heavy and oppressive. The fog that often enveloped the town seemed to carry the weight of the clock's dark history. It was a tangible presence, a reminder of the fear that had taken root in the hearts of the townspeople. The clock tower's shadow was more than just a physical presence. It was a symbol of the town's enduring struggle against the darkness that threatened to consume it. The first death occurred on a night like any other. The air was still, and the town lay in a quiet slumber, unaware of the impending doom. The clock ticked past 11:59, its gears grinding against the weight of time. Each second seemed to stretch into eternity, as if the clock itself knew what was about to unfold. A young woman, her laughter echoing through the square, paused beneath the tower. She was full of life, her joy infectious, lighting up the darkened square with her presence. The clock struck 12. Silence fell. The chime reverberated through the night, a haunting melody that seemed to freeze time itself. The woman collapsed, her life extinguished in an instant. One moment she was there, vibrant and alive, and the next, she was gone, leaving only a lifeless shell behind. No cause of death was ever found. Panic gripped the town. The once peaceful community was now shrouded in fear and uncertainty, as the mystery of her sudden demise loomed over them. Whispers of the clock's curse spread like wildfire. The townspeople, desperate for answers, began to speculate and fear the worst. Stories of the clock's malevolent power grew with each retelling. The townsfolk, once dismissive, now looked upon the tower with fear. What was once a mere structure had become a symbol of dread, its shadow casting a pall over the town. The clock, once a symbol of the town's history, became a harbinger of death. Its presence was no longer comforting but menacing, a constant reminder of the fragility of life. Its presence was a constant reminder of the fragility of life. The townsfolk could no longer ignore the ominous aura that surrounded the clock tower, and they lived in perpetual fear of the next midnight. People began to avoid the square at night, their once lively gatherings now a distant memory. The clock tower stood alone, a silent sentinel over an empty square. The clock's hands moved slowly, each tick a reminder of the passage of time and the inevitability of the next midnight. The town held its breath, waiting for the next victim of the clock's deadly toll. In their desperation, the townsfolk turned to prayer, hoping for divine intervention. They lit candles and prayed for protection, but the fear remained, a dark cloud over their hearts. Some sought answers in ancient texts, hoping to uncover the origins of the clock and its curse. They pored over old books and scrolls, searching for a way to break the cycle of death. But as the clock struck midnight each night, the fear returned. The silence that followed was deafening, a stark reminder of the clock's deadly power. The town lived in constant dread, knowing that the next victim could be anyone. The clock tower stood tall, an unyielding presence in the town. Ominous clouds gathered above, casting a dark shadow over the town. The clock's deadly toll continued, a relentless reminder of the fragility of life. Over the years, the clock claimed more victims. It stood as a silent sentinel, its hands moving with a sinister purpose, marking the passage of time with a malevolent intent. Each tick echoed through the empty halls, a reminder of the lives it had taken. Each death occurred precisely at midnight, each one shrouded in mystery. The townsfolk would hear the final chime, a haunting sound that signaled another soul lost to the clock's curse. Midnight became a time of dread, a moment when the air grew colder and the shadows seemed to lengthen. A farmer tending his fields, his face etched with worry as he glanced at the distant clock tower, knowing that his time might be near. A shopkeeper closing for the night, his hands trembling as he turned the key, the weight of the clock's curse heavy on his mind. A child playing in the street, unaware of the danger that loomed, their laughter a stark contrast to the fear that gripped the town. All met their end beneath the clock tower's shadow. The tower's presence was inescapable, its dark silhouette a constant reminder of the fate that awaited those who crossed its path. The townsfolk avoided the tower, their fear palpable. They whispered among themselves, sharing stories of those who had fallen victim to the clock's curse, their voices hushed and filled with dread. Stories of the clock's victims became chilling tales for dark nights. Around campfires and in dimly lit rooms they recounted the eerie events, each story more terrifying than the last, a testament to the clock's malevolent power. Whispers of the damned, they called them, passed from one generation to the next. These whispers carried the weight of fear and sorrow, a legacy of the clock's dark history that refused to fade. The clock's curse had become an inescapable part of the town's identity. It was a symbol of the darkness that lurked within, a reminder that some evils could not be escaped, only endured. The clock tower stood tall, its presence a constant, ominous figure in the town's landscape, forever entwined with the lives of those who lived in its shadow. News of the cursed clock reached the ears of a wealthy collector, a man named Edward Davenport. Davenport, obsessed with the occult, saw the clock as the ultimate prize. He arrived in town, his eyes gleaming with avarice, determined to possess the artifact. Davenport purchased the clock, ignoring the pleas of the terrified townsfolk. He had it shipped to his manor, convinced he could control its power. He underestimated the clock's malevolence. He failed to understand the true cost of his obsession. Section 5. The clock strikes again. Davenport installed the clock in his study, unaware of the darkness he had invited into his home. As midnight approached on the first night, he sat before the clock, mesmerized by its intricate design. The clock chimed 12. Davenport let out a scream. his body contorted, his eyes filled with terror. He collapsed, lifeless, at the foot of the clock. The curse, it seemed, had followed him home. Section 6. A race against time. News of Davenport's death spread, fueling the legend of the cursed clock. The clock was moved from one owner to the next, each hoping to break the curse. Each one met a gruesome end. The clock became a symbol of death, its very presence a harbinger of doom. People lived in fear of its chime, dreading the approach of midnight. The curse had to be broken, but how could they stop time itself? Section 7. Trapped in the clock's grip. A young woman named Sarah, whose family had been haunted by the clock's curse for generations, decided to end the cycle. She had studied the clock's history, poring over ancient texts, desperately seeking a solution. Sarah discovered that the clock was not just cursed, it was a prison. A malevolent entity was trapped within, its rage fueling the clock's deadly power. Only by freeing the entity could the curse be broken. Section 8. Breaking the curse. Sarah tracked the clock to a secluded museum. As midnight approached, she stood before it, her heart pounding in her chest. She had learned that the entity could be appeased, its anger quelled. Sarah performed an ancient ritual, her voice echoing through the silent halls. The clock chimed 12. The air crackled with energy. The entity, sensing an opportunity for release, roared. The clock shuddered, its gears grinding to a halt. The curse was broken. Section 9. The nightmare continues. The museum stood silent, the clock's ticking silenced for the first time in centuries. The curse was lifted, but a sense of unease lingered. Sarah had stared into the abyss, had felt the entity's rage. The clock remained, a chilling reminder of the darkness that lay hidden beneath the surface of the world. A testament to the fact that some things are best left undisturbed, some horrors, once unleashed, can never truly be contained.